and practice looking at things, doing the holy instant, what is the truth here really, because that cleans the fog off your glasses to where instead of seeing a physical body, you actually start seeing the glowing light of things more and more and more. I've said this before, but still it's cool. At home, I've got a big mirror in my yoga room. And I put the mirror in my yoga room so that I could check my alignment in Trikonasana. And it's interesting to check your alignment in Trikonasana or any pose. And I'll be doing the pose, and I'll be making like a subtle little alignment shift, which feels significant, but it's not very visible. And I look in the mirror, I can see what I'm feeling. And by watching yourself practice, it improves your seeing ability. Okay, so I put the mirror in there so I could do that. And when I practice, I go, and then I stop. And I usually sit in lotus or pigeon or straddle splits or something, and just sort of like pause for a few moments. Then I go again, and then I pause for a few moments. And on this one day in particular, I'd gone, and I was sitting in lotus, and I happened to be looking into the mirror. And I just thought, okay, I'll just start doing eye gazing with myself. And at first, I just looked like me. And it's like, cool, like I really recommend that you try this. Get a big mirror or do it with someone that you like. Do eye gazing and just get on the same light beam with yourself. And I was just having fun, just sort of goofing around. And as I got in the same world with myself, suddenly I began to see a glow around the reflection in the mirror. And I kind of blinked and went, huh? But I did it again, and at first I just looked like me, but as I was able to silent mind it and get clear in the now with the seeing, I began to see the glow again. At first it looked like sort of like a little snow, like a couple inches around the body, like you'd sort of imagine. But then it started looking like the body was translucent, like a hologram, like an energy body. Really there, it still looked like me, but it looked like I could put my arm right through myself. And then I could blink and come back to normal, or I could let myself see it. And that's interesting. I can stay here, or I can begin to see more of what's going on. That's what began to convince me that, oh wow, actually what's going on there is a radiant light body. And what I realize is that if I'm seeing it, especially if you're doing this in a mirror with yourself, if you're seeing it in the mirror, then obviously you're being it. You're either being it more than you were a moment ago, or you're just finally letting yourself see the more of what's there. But in either case, as I was doing the eye gazing and I began to see the light and the translucency, I realized that, wow, if I'm seeing it, then obviously I'm being it. Therefore, the way to be it more is to practice seeing it more. Which doesn't mean that you walk around with a mirror and look at yourself all the time. But whatever you're looking at becomes the thing to see. And if you start seeing a glow or a translucency, or at first the colors will start getting more psychedelic, more pretty, more colorful. If that starts to happen and you start seeing the colors getting prettier, that's the signal that you're beginning to be it more. And so I would vote, like, practice this. Like, do mirror gazing. Do it with a friend that you like. I found this the scariest thing in the world to do years ago. Like, I used to do it and it just scared me, you know? And like doing it with some people, it just scared me. I didn't want other people to see me the way I thought about myself. And it's sort of like, if I can see them, they can see me. So it's easy to be scared. But if you do it with someone that you like, or if you do it in the mirror where it feels safe, and you just relax, and you're curious to see what the truth is, no matter what it happens to be, with the suspicion that there's more to see than you're currently seeing. I'm saying that there's a glow and there's a translucency that you can start to be aware of, but I'm hesitant about saying that because I don't want to brainwash anyone into, oh, I'm supposed to be seeing a glow and a transparency. But that's what I was meaning when we're having chili rellenos. This is a chili relleno. You're a glowing transparency, actually. There's nothing wrong with saying it, actually. We need to know that actually you're a radiant light presence, actually. But because of fear and the feeling of the need to protect ourselves, we densify, we clench up, and the light, which would just naturally be radiant, gets like held in and darkened. And then it starts feeling dense and dark and physical. And then, wow, I can't wait till I get out of here. Life sucks. Let me out. Whereas increasingly, there's the sense that death is a fake. The conscious presence that you are will always look like something. You're not going to drop a body. You're not going to become bodiless. Ever. And sort of like the worst thing you could do for your health is like be projecting your future demise. Though the older you get, the sicker you get, you know, the more you sort of just want to get out of here. It's totally understandable. Let me out. And at the moment, the only way to get off the planet is die. But again, the insight is, if it was appropriate for you to be somewhere else, you could just sit down, relax. Your energy would accelerate. And you could just poof somewhere else. So instead of having to go through the rigors of suffering and death in order to go to the Pleiades or wherever it was appropriate for you to be, you would just sit down and teleport. And again, I'd heard of this for years. It sounded like a good fairy tale. But now, increasingly, it's feeling like, oh, whoa, those weren't fairy tales. That was like skillful. You know what I mean? Like skillful. And you could pop out, you could pop back in. You could pop to Hawaii for the afternoon. Again, I haven't done it. But again, it's feeling possible. It's feeling like I don't really know if it's true, I don't really know if it's not true. And I'm really sure that I am not so sure that it's not true. Did that make sense? In other words, stop being so convinced that you know what's up. It can't happen. If you're so convinced that it can't happen, you're like preventing yourself from letting it happen. If you know you don't really know, but you're curious about it, then it's like you become more malleable. And then if you start seeing glowing light more and more, it's like, wow, life is different than I thought it was. It's more awesome than I thought it was. Already it's more awesome. What was that quote you sent me? Something like, it's from the...
from Liquid Spirit?
Light, it was like...
Oh, gosh.
Like life is already awesome and nobody...
Oh, no, Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Everything here is amazing and nobody's happy.
Yeah.
That was the quote.
Yeah.
Everything's already amazing now and nobody's happy.
Yeah.
Very erudite, yeah.
And so, like, I think it's helpful to sort of have the suspicion, whether it's true or not, whether you believe, and like, I'm not saying that you should believe this, but you're actually a fourth dimensional conscious being with a radiant light body.
And does it have a function?
Yeah, to be alive. To be the place where God shines through. To glorify God. To be what it is. Its function is to be what it is. The function of the body is to identify your presence. The function of manifest creation is to identify the presence of the infinite. And in any case, whatever the function is, it's happening. Something's happening. That's why I keep playing that song like this morning. Something's happening here.
So do you think it will happen for some and not for others?
I think but eventually everyone will get it. But I think some people will get it sooner. Some people already have it.
As in understanding?
Yeah,
Or as it happening?
both.
In which case,
Yeah.
there are more radiant light somethings alive in inverted commas today than have ever lived on the planet in the past. Where have they come from?
They've come from the infinity.
Consciousnesses come from.
From the all. And it's sort of like, my take on this is like, as a planetary consciousness, tribal mentalities duking it out are finally waking up to the fact of their already existing unity. That's going to be like an awesome celebratory conscious experience. The tribe is gathering for the event. That's what it feels like. There's not more people now than ever. It's like it's the same infinite number. But there's more people gathering here at the moment because the fireworks are about to go off in a cool way. Something like that. Thank you, Henry. Yeah.
I have a question. So in some, philosophies and things, they talk about when you die that the form returns to the formless. And so can you speak about that a little bit? It sounds like what you're saying is that we're sort of named, although that's not the right word, and there will always be
individualized.
That you never go back to just a formless state where you could have a different.
Right.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I can try.
Yeah.
My understanding of this is you're already the formless. Mind or consciousness is formless. And yet mind or consciousness is infinitely identified. But you, as the specific identification, are not. You are the all. And it's sort of like you as a specific individual will always be the specific individual that you are. So you don't go back into the formless, you're already the formless. That's sort of like the little shift, which will make a difference in what the question is.
Maybe something about, like, let me talk about infinite and specific at the same time without there being, maybe it's form and formless at the same time.
That's what I'm trying to say, yeah.
Okay.
And the consciousness aspect is the formless. Mm-hmm. You're conscious, therefore you're infinite God mind consciousness, but looking out through the specific place where you are. The infinite God consciousness looking out from this place is Erich. Mm-hmm. But Erich is only who Erich is because the all is looking out through here. The confusion is me thinking I'm Erich, whereas the clarity is, I'm the all looking out at all. And as a specific identification, my name is Erich, but I'm Erich all. You're carry all. You'll always be all. You'll always be formless in that sense, and yet wherever you are will be the specific identification of you. And so it's not like you drop your form and become formless. You're already formless. And like you said, you'll always be formless and formed, infinite and specific at the same time. At the same time.
Wow.
And that's what life is that.
Yeah. Well, I've never gotten that until now. Okay.
And so like part of the shift is like beginning to catch yourself whenever you think that you're in a world, to the realization, no, actually the world is in my mind.
Yeah.
So you as awareness are bigger than anything that you're observing. Sort of like consciousness is the space in which space is happening. You as awareness are the space which is aware of manifest creation. This is so hard to talk about and so fun and so I think significant and
I don't know if I have words, but from the limited third dimensional perspective, which is where we operate most of the time.
which is where we think we operate from.
But with that,
Yes.
that perspective of it's third dimensional, I'm Anne,
Right.
I'm gonna grow old, my mother died, all those things.
Right.
Death looks like what we think it is.
Right.
But since the third dimension exists within the fourth dimension,
Right.
it really is only a matter of a misinterpretation or a misperception of what's already true.
Exactly. And sort of, yeah, exactly. And like the point to get is like, if you're conscious, and you are, then you already are, consciousness is formless. It's the space in which space is happening. If you're conscious, and you are, then you are fourth dimensional conscious being, already, effortlessly. And so it's not like a big trip to somewhere else. It's just sort of like this little shift from thinking, oh, I'm a body being aware, to, oh, no, I'm awareness being aware of my body and manifest creation. That seems to be like the stepping stone for me. That's been like the significant step, because it's like, it happens right where you are. It's already happening, and it's just the shift from thinking, oh, I'm a body being aware, to, oh, no, I'm awareness being aware of what looks like me and everything else.
Formless being aware of form.
Formless being aware of form, right. And the form is the identification of the formless. So it's sort of like weather formations happening within the formless sky. There's weather formations, and they're always changing, but they're happening within the formless sky. And the sky is actually consciousness, and you're conscious, and therefore your consciousness, right now, boundless, aware consciousness, not finite, but looking out at infinite manifestation from this specific lookout point. And it's sort of easy. But, But you're the sky of mind looking out at weather formations. And the sky of mind looks like weather. There's got to be the sky before you can have the clouds. But they're so simultaneous that it's like you don't even talk about it, except consciousness is more fundamental than the forms. Forms are not because of, consciousness is not because of the forms. Yeah, thank you for being patient.